Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You served and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallenVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallenVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallenVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallenVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Can you stream? Hello and welcome to the ISCA 313 at Daytona International Speedway. I'm your host, Big Al. Joined up in the booth by none other than Joe Jolo LaCosta, as well LaCostro. Sorry about that, Joe, as well as Kobe. Jordan, Kobe's going to be working everything for us down behind the scenes. Joe, how goes it today, boss?
I'm doing real good, Big Al. Doing fantastic. Ready for a race and one of my favorite places to watch a NASCAR race. That's Daytona. And it's going to be a great race for the ISCA. Glad to be up here in the booth with you to call it.
Yeah, definitely glad to have you up in the booth with us, man. And this is definitely going to be a little bit of a long one for us here tonight. As we're not going to have to undergo qualifying, as that was actually settled last week in the duels. So right now we're just kind of getting everybody warmed up, I do believe. But hey, guess what? We got points to go through, and then we're going to talk about the race facts and a lot of other little things that are going on here tonight.
Wonderful. Well, let's get right into it.
All right, jumping right into it. Tonight's the ISCA 2025 season. This is race number 1. This race scheduled for 125 laps, 3 stages. Stage 1 is going to come at the end of lap 26 to the end of 45. Drivers are going to have 4 sets of tires, 3 on the car, 1 in the pits, and the fuel window looks like it's going to be 40 laps. Wow, that's going to be a good one here. Because you know what, Joe? Nothing drives madness and insanity like checkered flags and trophies, right?
Well, you know what? If it's nothing's more motivational than the gold, my friend. It looks beautiful up there on the shelf. It feels good in the hands. And even if it's virtual, it's going to be something that it's worth racing for.
Yeah, have you, speaking of racing, have you actually been able to get out and turn any laps as of yet this week?
Not this season, not really myself. I have been, I hung up the dancing slippers for this season to actually do some racing. I've been mostly into the watching point of view lately. And so I've been chomping at the bit and getting ready to watch the real life race this Sunday. And I've been watching a few digital races leading up to it.
Yeah, definitely. This Sunday is going to. I mean, hey, look, we've all been waiting. Let's just be honest. We haven't seen a good race since last year, right? Tonight's race not included, notwithstanding.
That's true. We got a little bit of time.
Yeah, we actually did get to do a little bit of racing last week, so we do have some points. Probably run through those real quick. For the first time ever, looks like Greg Wachinski's going to be on top of the leaderboard. Brandon Pasalacqua is going to be in P2. Patrick Gitter, 3rd. Kenny Powell's going to be in 4th. Eric Clean, 5th. Brian Johnson, 6th. Matt DeCiani, 7th. Josh Schaffner, 8th. Paul Osen making his way to the top 10 and 9th. And Alexander Carr is going to round out your top 10 there in those Super Cup Series point standings, right? Not a lot of points, but still every point matters, right, Joe?
Yeah, it really does. And the racing that went down at those duels last week, you can still watch them on YouTube. They determined where people are starting this race this week. So it really did matter. And as we saw, getting out in front early can spell a really good thing, or getting in the middle can be a really bad thing. So being out and getting a good position during the duels was paramount. It was very important.
Yeah, definitely, because that's what's going to dictate where you're actually starting at from the pits here this week, and pit positions matter. I mean, that's one of the things, especially on a track like this. So we'll see how this works. But like I said, these guys are going to have a long time down there in those seats tonight. We're going to be up here watching this thing intently go by. Man, who's your favorite? Do you have one?
I don't know if I do quite yet. We've had some people running some really great times so far during warm-up. During practice, J.C. Evans, Vincent Crowe. I got to say right now, Vincent Crowe. I got his name wrong for half the race last week. I got it right. I'm going to get it right every time I say it this week. We've already heard from an inside source that Vincent Crowe is the one to watch. I'm going to say Vincent Crowe is going to take the flag tonight.
All right, we'll be watching to see exactly what takes place. But look here, warm-ups actually starting to get in the books. We're going to take a step away, get that national anthem honors to the nation, and we'll be back here getting ready to go clean and green on this thing here sometime soon.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light For so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon her singing out, yeah, through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
And we are back, just like that. Look here, we are gridded up and getting ready to get this thing green. Like we said, there were no qualifying this week. Actually, qualifying was set by the duels last week, and I'm going to tell you, they were actually pretty quite exciting. If you didn't get a chance to look at those, like Joe said, they're still available on YouTube. Now I'm going to go ahead and run through the lineup. On the pole for Paradigm last week, putting in the fastest time was none other than 56 car Chris D. Johnson. Alongside him on the outside, his Paradigm teammate Patrick Gitter. Row 2 shows Greg Wachinski and his GNG teammate Ken Powell. Next row is going to be Brian Johnson. He's going to be started beside Eric Kling. 7th place, rolling off with Josh Schaffer. He has Matt DeCiano beside him in 8th. 9th place is going to show us Alexander Carr, and we got Paul Ocean rounding out the top 10.
Moving on into the 11th place, John Binder, followed by Derek Heitman. In 13th, Clayton Hoffman. 14th, Randy Drumhiller. 15th, J.C. Evans. 16th, Kendall Levron. 17th, Mark Sanchez. 18th, Vincent Crow. 19th, Derek Jacobs. And 20th, Jeremy Clapper Newell.
That's right, that's going to put Paul Hill the second in 21st. 22nd shows Jose Medina. 23rd, Bacon Zelenka. Bacon. 24th is going to be Greg Carr. The 25th position is going to be Jermaine Vines with Matthew Cisna in 26. 27th place is going to show Chuck Burley with Jay Hone in 28th. 29th is going to show us Connor Banks, and Randy Belt's going to round out the top 30. 31.
And for the... Oh, so go on, Big Al, go for it.
No, go ahead, finish it up.
All right, sure thing. For 31, we've got Nick King. 32, Tim Wortman. 33, Blair Holloman. 34, Andrew Griesbaum. 35, Kevin Zosiak. 36, Ryan Strunk. 37th, Dave Fuge Jr. 38th, David Gervais. And rounding out the field at 39th, Jason Maines.
Well, yeah, sorry to see that. There you go. We're good. We're back, man. Exciting. 39 cars in the field tonight. I do believe that's probably one of the biggest fields that we've actually had here since I've been calling, Joe. And I don't know if that's a testament to you or me, man, but we're just going to go with it, right?
They're here for us, Big Al. I know that's really what draws people to watch the ISCA and to race in the ISCA. It's really the chemistry that we've got, I think, is what is really for sale here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty excited to be calling this race with you. We've actually this will be our third opportunity to call races together, man. And I think I definitely bring out the best in you. I can hear it in your voice when you're calling with me. It just seems like you're just, you're better.
Ah, well, thank you, Big Al. I appreciate it. And I do hope to glean some of that skill as I continue my broadcasting career here with the ISCA.
Yeah, Roger, man. But this one's different. This is the first one here of the season. So a lot of cobwebs to shake off. Last year when we started this thing, we had some shifts in the universe, if you will, some team shifts. This year, I do believe there's probably been some shifts as well as far as the rules and how everything's set up. But that really won't affect the people at home much. That's just going to affect the drivers that are actually out here. But the one thing that we guarantee does not change. You're still going to get the same side-by-side competitive racing, probably the likes of which you won't find anywhere else on iRacing.
Yeah, I can tell you based on just from the duels from last week, it's night and day sometimes watching different leagues race, and this league has just got a way with the oval that is unique amongst others, and it's fun to watch. It's good, clean racing. It gets exciting when it needs to be. It's hard to put in words, and I think that's why we're going to just do our best to describe it as we go around here and do 125 laps.
Yeah, there's a couple words that I could think about, that would probably describe this place. But the lights are off on the pace car. He's getting ready to get himself down and out of the way. And these drivers are going to stack it up through that Geico restart zone. And when they do, we're going to hit the loud pedal and go, go, go. Waiting to see what Chris D. Johnson does. Geico restart zone. And we are underway. Green flag is out for what will be the first of 125 laps here.
Everybody stacking up very nicely. Johnson moving up to the outside, doing a little bit of a block there. He just needs to find the side with momentum. I'd say stick with the bottom row, as he does now. Two cars now. Johnson and Wyszynski getting out by a nose, bringing Johnson with them.
Yeah, one thing we're going to see this week that we did not see in the duels is these guys are going to be wanting to go because they're going to be stage points that are on the line. Cars jockeying as we got a lot of cars trying to figure out which is the fastest line. I don't think that's necessarily being dictated right now by which lane the drivers want. I think they're just trying to go by how they can get around. Kenny Powell has his bumper not necessarily square, but he is pushing the 21 of Patrick Gitter as they're trying to get that top row on to go, Joe.
Yeah, that top row is really holding back a little bit there. Patrick Gitter is leading the charge, I believe. Who is that on the outside, actually?
Yeah, that's Matt DeCiani now that's going to be up in front there of that front row.
Gotcha. Okay, Matt DeCiani in the front of the outside row. He's getting the push, but he needs to try to keep up. That side draft is killer here, especially with this aerodynamics model on this car. If you get too close to the bottom row, you're just going to sap speed from both lanes. You've got to stay away, find your own speed.
Yes, Patrick Gitter jumps back up in the high line. No doubt Gitter is probably going to commit to the high line because we know that the high line is going to be the faster of the two. Just haven't quite got there yet, as we're still just getting this thing underway. Now, a little bit of momentum starting again as the high side now starts to come around. Got about 7 cars up there, 8 making it happen.
Schaffner is the one right now who's down on the inside from the top row. He's just trying to hold on to the inside line, doing pretty good. Going to give a big bump to the floor of Brian Johnson. A couple guys out of line now. Looks like that's the 25, I think, the 24. That might have been Kenny Powell. No, Kenny Powell's on the top row. Excuse me.
That bottom line there had some big whoops. There's Josh Schaffner kind of got caught up with Jose Medina. It actually echoed through the entire field as Paul Ocean had to check up. Caused John Bender to actually get out of line. And now because of that, the top row, the bottom row, is starting to look like my cousin's teeth, Joe.
Few holes here and there?
You think?
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing it. Here on the outside at the back of the line, Vincent Crowe makes the move down to the inside line. He's going to hold on to that, take the spot away from Alex Carr just by a nose.
Just like that, we're single file. Not surprised to see that we're single file right now. I mean, we still got a lot of racing to go here. Stage one's not going to be over for some 20 laps. So, this is the time where you just kind of got to just save. I mean, did you have a lot of experience with super speedways?
Super speedways are probably where I did most of my racing in iRacing. I did a lot of Draft Master, and I really, really enjoyed super speedway racing because I like draft racing. So, if anything, if I can say I have some experience, it might be out here on something like this.
Definitely, it's two single file starting to shuffle out a little bit at the back. Some drivers starting to get a little bit impatient. Speaking of patience, we'll wonder just how long these drivers are going to be able to stay single file holding that bottom line. Now, I was expecting to see 2 wide, not 3 wide in the first stage, but I was definitely not expecting to see single wide racing.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting to see a lot of double wide racing, what am I looking for? Double wide? That's the term I'm looking for. Yeah. So I was expecting a lot of double wide racing here too. And this single file, it's to me, it speaks to the situation that these guys know that they're in. They may. I'm not sure where we are. Are we doing a 100% fuel on these cars? I think we are.
We're 100% fuel league as of 2 years ago.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Yeah, one of the other leagues I call, they do much less in terms of fuel percentages, but good. We're 100% here. These guys know they have to make it to the end of the stage, and they have to save some fuel to get there potentially, but that's for a lunge at the end of the stage. And so making those moves, being patient now, can pay off later. And what the first stage is at, we said, was that 20-something? 20? Let me check here.
26.
26. Thank you very much. So we're at 26 laps, and we're currently sitting around lap 6.5 right now. So we've got a little ways to go. Time for people to sort of check into where they want to be and get comfortable.
Yeah, also, I don't think drivers are going to probably have to actually stop for fuel through the first 2 stages. It might be pretty close, so that'll be interesting to see if some guys exercise their rights to actually stay out onto the racing surf. Maybe some guys even short pit stage 1. Still got a little bit of ways to go before we see that, but those are things that we're actually going to be watching for. I guess you could say those are going to be my talking points. I'll share those with you a little bit sooner than later. But right now, looking like we're picking this thing up right where we left off last season. I mean, Patrick Gitter out front, showing the way. Matt DeCiani right behind him. I mean, this wood is starting to stack itself the same way that the tree fell.
Yeah, it was. So this was a little repeat from last season. Then remember, I'm catching up a little bit on how last season ended up. So Patrick Gitter out in front. Is that something I should be looking for?
Yeah, you should always look for Gitter to be out front. Gitter's going to be out front more than he's not. The 21 car, the 6, is also going to be a front runner. Brian Johnson.
Gotcha.
Clayton Hoffman, he's going to be in and out of there, but these are the guys that you're generally going to be looking for. And then it's going to come down to strategy, because one thing that you find in this league, a lot of the guys that are front runners usually don't share the same strategy, so it allows us some exciting racing, and it gives a chance, usually when the green flag stays out, it gives a chance for everybody's strategies to actually play out, and that just makes it even more exciting for the folks at home.
Yeah, that's what we're looking forward to, is the intersection of strategy with the even playing field that we're all kind of dealing with here. It's a very similar situation that a lot of these guys find themselves in. Guy in front, guy in back. I'm sitting in the middle of the pack. Where do I go? What do I do? Well, that's where your strategy is going to come into play, and we're going to see how these strategies all start to intersect. I think a little bit from now. Yellow flag is out. I think we have some action here on the field. Got some names: Derek Jacobs, Eric King.
Look like I'm seeing Derek Jacobs is the recipient of the dreaded meatball flag. Him and Eric Kling must have gotten to each other at some point. We'll be trying to rewind that to see exactly what took place. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, we're going to step away one quick second, get some words from our sponsors, figure this out. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back. Looks like we were able to step away. Have a little bit of technical difficulties downstairs, but that's something that should not affect you guys. However, it did affect us from being able to see that last caution. But anyway, Derek Jacobs, I believe, has left the building. Those guys took that car to the hauler and put it up. Eric Kling still in the race, still behind the wall. Lights are still on the pace car. And man, Joe, I don't know what to say. Very peculiar, I guess you'd say, to see a caution come this early at a racetrack like Daytona.
Yeah, we were just talking about how everything was lined up nicely, and we had we were just waiting for things to get a little bit spicier. Unfortunately, we didn't see that spin. It looks like. If I look at it here, it looks like there was actually what ended up happening was there was a spin. Someone lost control. I think there was a little bit of contact, and then I'm trying to figure out exactly which car that is that lost control here. But it looks Derek Jacobs ended up crashing very hard into that car. That was Eric Kling. So yeah, I've got a little replay here to give you the radio version of it. He was down on the inside. It looks like he got spun up into the inside wall, unfortunately. And then when he came back down, Derek just crashed, he just crashed right into him.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Lights off on the pace car. We are doubled up, getting ready to take this thing back to green flag racing. Looks like we're going to be 10 to go at the line. So stage one's going to be coming, maybe 11 to go or so. The stage one's going to be coming to an end. And once again, I said, man, trophies and checkers, those things bring out the worst in race car drivers. So I think we're definitely going to see them mix it up a little bit more here just because, it's early. And so some people might say, well, stage points don't really matter that much. But I'm under the adage, man, you got to get all you can while you can. If they're available, you got to grab them.
Yeah, you know what? There are stage points count. That's what I'm going to say here. Stage points definitely count. So if you can guarantee it, if you can line it up, it's something worth working for. So if it's on the table, why leave it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And now that we're doubled up again, I'm interested to see if we're going to stay doubled up. Maybe triple it up towards the end of this thing, but going back to single file, I don't know. Pace car's down in a way. Patrick Gitter leading us through the Geico restart zone. He is off. Green flag is out. Patrick Gitter wasting no time getting that outside line movers. He's going to drop now to the inside. He's going to take the lead over Matt DeCiani. Randy Drumhiller up top. He's getting pushed by Greg Wachinski. These two trying to get it going. Wachinski's giving them everything he got. Had to back out just a little bit in the corner.
The perfect little line of 4 cars here. We still got 2 wide, though, behind them.
Not a very solid square shot there from the 5 of Wachinski into the back of Drumhiller. You got to hit these guys square. If you hit them off on the corner, you're going to send them into the wall. Drumhiller definitely not doing as good of a job leading that high line, I think, maybe as some others. But, we've seen that line struggle to get going here, especially over the night, though.
Yeah, we have, and I just watched, I'll be honest, I just watched another Indy 500 early this week, and it was a situation where that high line, if they get anywhere near the inside line, the side draft is going to affect both lines of cars. So they have to be careful with their distance. They have to make sure that they use the car behind them and not the car next to them.
Yeah, not sure what's going on. I don't know if this is going to be indicative of what we can expect for the rest of the race, but definitely not something that we're not, that I say I don't know. I'm not used to seeing the high line be so ineffective, especially this early at a track like Daytona. Now we got a little bit of separation in the field. These guys are going to, that's no good. You got to get these things tight. You got to keep them tight because if you don't, man, all that air gets in there and it just doesn't settle well.
No, it doesn't. We just saw Drumhiller cycle back on the outside 3 cars. He's back now in 13th, holding on to 13th, 14th, somewhere around there. A little bit of a gap downstairs, so he might be able to walk down there if he wants to. Leading the top line right now, that's Greg Wachinski in the 5 machine. He's down 10 places from where he started in 3rd to 13th. So with the outside line, he's got a lot to prove. He could get down to the inside and lead them back up to the front pack. But the front pack right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars in the front pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wachinski has his G&G teammate, Kenny Powell. He's going to be shoving them. Looks like those guys are still going to stay up to the high side. But, once you miss that boat, man, it's hard to catch the bus again. It's one of those things where, if that rip current doesn't grab you, you're going to be swimming against the current for the rest of that lap. And that's what you definitely started to see between the high line and the bottom. And that's now why we have quite a bit of a breakaway there between the first 10 cars and the rest of the field.
Yeah, we do. We have almost a 2-second gap exactly 2 seconds between Greg Carr and Greg Wachinski here. That is the gap between the front pack and the back pack. The back pack still kind of sorting themselves out, trying to figure out if they can start to make that close a little bit. It looks like they're trying their best to. Meanwhile, up at the front, Gitter still leading the crew with DeCiani behind him, Hoffman in a very tight formation.
Yeah, good to see that Clayton has actually made his way up to the front. This is about what you could expect to see, right? Clayton did actually qualify all the way back in 13th. Probably not one of his best runs in the duel, but yeah, he's definitely back up front. And I'm saying he's going to always try to keep himself right there so he can see the leader. At least he wants to have his eyes on Gitter. That's what I've kind of noticed about him.
Well, he's got to look through DeCiani to see Gitter, and that's a teammate pairing right there. Fortis Motorsports, 2 out of 3 of their drivers right there, DeCiani and Patrick Gitter. So we'll see. With this pairing up in front, it's going to be really tough for somebody, even in third, or especially in third, to get around 2 at the same time without having a momentum push or side drafting really hard and try to get around those 2.
Yeah, I might have misspoke a little bit earlier. I think I actually hung Gitter into the Paradigm stable, which, he'd take that out of my paycheck. And sorry about that. My apologies to you too, Mr. Gitter.
I think that's all right. No one's going to hold that against you, Big Al, so nothing to worry about there.
All right, we still get dessert. That's what I'm talking about. Now, speaking of dessert, we got ourselves a car that's going to put itself in the mix, and that's going to be the 49. We're going to have 6 laps to go before this thing actually gets itself to where it's going to be. And the 49 car, I do believe, is probably going to be a factor.
Yeah, you think that's going to be in the mix here? Let's see how far away he is right now.
I think Jeremy Clapper-Newell is going to be a factor. In one way or another. Maybe if it's just a call out on the radio, but he's still going to be acknowledged. We're talking about him right now.
Yep, that's very true. Now he's got a chain of cars coming up on him. He's only about a 1/10 of a lap away from these guys. So yeah, I think you're right. If we got 5 laps to go and you're a 1/10 of a lap away in this situation, there's a very good chance that with no one to help him and hung out to dry like he is, unfortunately, he's going to be traffic for these guys. But let's see. I bet that this line of 10 is going to go pretty smoothly around him.
Oh yeah, we have had issues in the past where we've had lap cars actually, wreck leaders. I'm not speaking that into fruition. I'm just saying, anytime that there's that what do you call them there? That wild card there?
Yeah.
I call that wild card. Anytime that wild card's there, that's something that you're going to have to be abreast of. Not that big of a deal now. You see, we're single file, but when this thing goes on and we're double file and possibly triple file, now you're going to start to see things and things that we're actually going to have to take stock of and totally evaluate. Let's only had 2 cars down on pit road.
Yep, J.C. Evans and Eric Kling are both down pit road. What a gentlemanly maneuver there from Jeremy Clapper-Newell. Getting up and out of the way on the outside line, just letting that inside line truck on by.
Yeah, with just 4 laps to go here before this thing is actually wrapping up, I'm starting to feel the desperation that's actually starting to seep out of the guys that are not with this lead pack, because it's going to be hard to challenge, man, if you're not in the conversation. And they got quite a gap back there, and it doesn't seem like they're closing that. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it might actually start to be spreading out just a little bit.
Might be. The only person right now who's got the bite, it looks like, is Clayton Hoffman, and if he wants to stick with it, Christy Johnson. If Chris Johnson could get up into Hoffman, the 2 of them might be able to make a move on the two teammates who are in the 1-2. But right now, it's a tough spot to be in. Hoffman is stuck like a lamprey onto the tail of DeCiani, though. If you just saw what happened, there was a little bit of a wiggle there out of DeCiani. Hoffman said, "Nope, wherever you go, I go," and he's holding on to him tightly.
And if you watch that, if you're actually able to look and see the contact that the first 3 are making, that is what is essential to actually getting that gap that they do have. If you're not making contact, you're never going to make contact, if that makes sense. If you're not actually up there putting your nose in the guy in front of yours little booty like you're in the Navy, you're going to find yourself just slipping back further and further away.
Now, I've heard a little secret that these cars can actually overheat if you do that too much. If you don't let the car get enough air into the front of it, you can actually run into overheating problems. In this Gen 7, was it Gen 7 car? I think we're in now.
Yes,
right now.
But the thing about that is, though, if you're good enough to be up front and to be bumping, you're good enough to watch your temperature. Maybe for some guys that don't quite have that master jet, they could actually risk cooking the biscuit, if you will, over cooking the biscuit. But I don't think you're going to see that from the top 3. I think these guys right now, they're doing exactly what they got to do, man. And I'm scared that if the rest of the field doesn't wake up, not only these guys going to start to build those points leads, because you're only giving points to the top 10.
That's right. As we come across the line, getting ready for the last lap of stage 1, I believe. This should be it for that. Let's see if anybody decides to make the move here. The 1, 2, 3 is Gitter, DeCiani, and Hoffman as we go into the first turn. The line of 10 out in front has passed the last lapped car that I think they're going to pass before the end of stage 1, and everything gets stacked up again into the back stretch. They go. And looks like things are pretty tame in the back stretch. No one's making the move. If it's going to happen, it's going to be after 3 and 4. Oh, one more lap here. We're going to stage 26, excuse me. Lap 26.
Now it looks like the white flag is going to be out for this one. And, once again, I think these guys up front are just relegated to getting whatever point they get. For those of you that are just joining us, as you don't know, there's 10 points that are available at each stage. The first place driver gets the 10, and the 10th place driver gets the 1, and so on and so forth in question. So, right now, I guess it's just a matter of if it looks like they're just going to split it, man. I don't.
Oh, here comes the move, though.
There it is.
Here comes the move. Johnson makes the move on Hoffman. He's up to the top. He's got the speed. Hoffman's dropping back now. Johnson looking. He's got third. Trying to look for second. Can he get there with help from the number 4, Brian Johnson behind him? Chris Johnson in front.
Bottom line breakaway, Chris D. Johnson, him and his brother Chris, Brian, got what they need. Caution's out. That's going to put stage 1 in the books, giving it up for Patrick Gitter. He's going to be your stage 1 winner. Gitter done starting this thing in P2. Matt DeCiani is going to be coming home in P2. Chris Johnson, 3rd. Brian Johnson, 4th. Josh Schaffner, 5th. Kendall LeVon, 6th. 7th place Alexander Carr. 8th Clayton Hoffman. From 3rd to 8th Clayton. 9th place Paul Olsen. And Greg Carr is going to round out the top 10. With the stage 1 in the books, we're going to take a break, get a word from our sponsors. We'll be back with your stage 1 winner.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Man, we are back just in time for the race off of pit road. Nonetheless, looks like Patrick Gitter's going to get it done. But we had some drivers stay out. Think that might put a little wrinkle in the mix. But hey, let's see if we can't get Patrick Gitter, drag him up into the booth. Looking for Patrick.
Found him. Let me go ahead and grab him.
Patrick
Hello,
Gitter.
Patrick.
Yes, sir. Got you guys.
Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
10-4.
Hey, congratulations to you, boss, for getting your first stage victory here of the 2025 season. Looks like you're ending this thing looks like you're starting this thing just like you ended.
Yeah, man, excited to start on a good note. Shout out to Matt. I mean, he and I just tried to stay together there, and made it work. Worked together really well, so it paid off.
Yeah, definitely. How's that number 21 Chevrolet shaping up for this 2025 season? Are there any things that we could look for out of your camp? Any big new developments? Come on, man, give us something.
Yeah, man, we Matt and I are working together. We got Fortis Motorsports this year, so we had a really good and strong run with Team Conti and Team Conti Center Performance for several years, and got to a point where we just decided we were wanting to go into the next challenge, kind of explore a little bit, experiment with some cars and sets, things like that. So we're building our own stuff, and it's been a good challenge so far. Some weeks going to be better than others, but I feel like we've been really strong so far in the off season and leading up to Daytona here, and looking forward to the next few weeks.
Is this going to be a 2-car team? Are you guys looking to expand this in the future?
We've got Derek Heitman unofficially, kind of. He's over at Ryko, but unofficially with us for ISCA, and we've got Carl Dodson with us over at Fortis as well. But otherwise, pretty small, and that's intentional. We want to keep it small and kind of a tight knit, close group that's able to kind of spin our wheels together and come up with some creative stuff.
Roger that. Speaking of spinning your wheels, it's about time to get you back to it. Congratulations again, man. Who are you going to shout out for your Stage 1 victory here tonight?
First off, Matt, great job pushing me there. Timed that run real well at the end on the backstretch and through 3 and 4. Shout out to Fortis Motorsports in general. Matt and Alex Murray for helping with the paint run tonight, and certainly you guys up in the booth.
Roger that. Thank you, sir. We're going to let you get back to it. Good luck to you, man. Hopefully see you back at the end of this thing a little bit later.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
That was Patrick Gitter, your Stage 1 winner. Joe, man, looks like a lot of big, exciting things going on. That sounds like that's going to be a pretty good team they got there.
Yeah, a couple unofficial names, few official names, keeping it tight, but it sounds like it's got a lot of talent. So, looking forward to what comes out of Fortis Motorsports during the season here.
Yeah, Gitter gets it done. That's what I would have called the team. Lights out on pace car. He's going to be ducking down and away. Got a new car up front. It's going to be the 7 car, Jermaine Vines. He's going to be leading us through this time. The 37 car is going to be along his outside. I'm showing that car to be Dave Hughes Jr. And we're off and away. Jermaine Vines wasting no time getting her going. Top line far and away a lot smoother than it did the previous 2 times. Looking like they actually got their stuff in gear here, Brian. Sorry, Joe.
That's all right. It's all right. If it happens, we got Jermaine Vines and Vincent Crow up in front, and they just made the transition down to the bottom, turning that little push that the top line got into a little bit less of a push. But let's see what happens right now, because I think Bacon Zelenka is using the momentum of that top line still really well.
Well, if anybody's going to be on top to get it done, you can count on Bacon. Bacon on top always is my favorite. And he's doing just that. Now he's got Gitter behind him, Matt DeCiani in the push, in the freight, in the Johnson behind him. These guys definitely got what it takes to get it done. We're seeing more speed now from that top line, I think, than we've seen from any other point at this point tonight.
Yeah, that's it. This is it. This is the time when the top line says, hey, here we go. But look what happens every time. The leader of the top line is going to come down and say, I want to lead the bottom line. And that's going to make the top line have to fight extra hard. But in this case, Bacon comes down, pushes put the bottom line back a little bit. Once again, we're seeing that momentum on the top is maintained as the leader transitions down. That's the second time that's happened since this restart.
And I was afraid that was going to happen. And now that you got these 3 coming down, the 56 Chris Johnson actually not able to make it down to 45 because Zelenka actually made him stay up top. But now that you got the front there, Patrick Gitter and Matt DeCiani, these 2, I think they're going to try to get their 2-car breakaway as you look as that top line now starting to actually suffer and fall back a lot a bit there. Chris Johnson not actually being able to get it going, but Greg Wachinski still going to be back there pushing and hammering away. Greg going to be trying to make this work.
His best. Chris Johnson really lucky that he didn't spin out there, unfortunately, into the number 7 of Jermaine Vines. They were really close to an accident, but it didn't happen. They both maintained. Johnson was able to come back up to the top line, back into the lead of that group. And now I think if he just got a little bit closer to Zelenka, put that left side tire a little bit closer to the car, he could pull that rear line back a little bit and make some speed.
Yeah, he was definitely letting them know that he was all about the business, not about letting that position go. And it's good to see Bacon up front. Now, what I was saying is I was kind of afraid that Hotline was actually going to get a bigger run and turn this thing up topsy-turvy. But we're actually starting to see some names up front that we don't usually get a chance to see. And some of these guys are new. Bacon Zelenka, Jermaine Vines, Vincent Crow, Kevin Zosiak, Tim Wortman Jr. Congratulations. All of these drivers last year, I mean, we weren't calling these guys names, not a lot. So, yeah, good. Welcome to the front, guys.
Love to see it. Love to see it. And now this line has yet again formed. It's a group of about 8 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 8 or 9 cars here up at the front that have started to break away. Now in the middle, it's going to be Kendall Levron at the back of that group with Paul Hill in the green 76. Excuse me, the green 76 machine, I believe. He's on the outside right now, leading a little group of 2. I think that's him and Derek Heitman. Thank you very much.
Derek Heitman and Paul Hill starting to get it done. Those two definitely hooked up. Now, Heitman, he's also supposed to be with those 2 guys up front. That's what that little birdie told me, and now he's going to be right up there with them. I'm going to be wanting to see if he's actually going to try to drop down in front of Zelenka as well, or if he's just let the brothers go back up top. They're actually going to go up and pick up Heitman. That's one way to make their unofficial official.
Yep, that's very true. If they can get their man together, that's the 3-man team right there. And with a push from behind, they could get their way to the front. The inside line is struggling again. Bacon just not able to take the crown with decisive action. Unfortunately, it looks like he's getting the push, but it's not quite enough for the to get away from the outside line. The outside line is just too defensive right now. Holding on, Heitman next door to Zelenka. Doesn't quite have the space for all 3 of them to move down, but as soon as all 3 of them can move down, I predict they will.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the difference. The top guys are actually taking more of a direct punch approach, where the bottom guys kind of like, let me put my hand on your shoulder and shove you. So I don't know if that actual hit is working better, but it definitely seems to be a little bit more effective. I've been watching these guys a little bit, and sometimes you see when it's not square, it gets a little bit whoopsie. But when they get it just right, man, it just seems to just kind of jolt that car forward.
Yes, it does. Here comes that side draft I was talking about. Zelenka suffering a little bit at the hands of Gitter. Falls back, loses a lot of speed, ends up in the nose of DeCiani. Ends up in the nose of Jermaine Vines just a little bit. DeCiani up on the top. He's giving the push right now to Patrick Gitter. The 2 of them working together just as they had been during the first stage here, trying to work to get the 2 cars back out in front. This is the racing I was expecting to see, more side by side. Gitter down to the inside. He leaves DeCiani up there. The 2 teammates still up on the top. They're going to try to get the push. Gitter might be playing a defensive game here to help his teammates get a little bit of distance.
Yeah, absolutely. That bottom line not yielding what they need. So these guys definitely taking it into their own hands, going to try to get a little bit more of a run up top as Heitman and DeCiani are doing just that. Now, also, this is going to be a great opportunity for Matt to cool his car off. He has been actually behind the 21. He's been pushing the whole time, and that's one of those things that you asked about. Well, this is an opportunity for him to do just that. He'll be able to cool that nose off, and then he'll be able to get back in and actually be effective. You might see the 76 actually come down so he can actually join in the festivities as well.
Well, right now we've got DeCiani going down first. So if Heitman's going to go down, it's going to have to be in front of DeCiani or behind Gitter. I don't think the 2 of them are going to be able to make enough space. It looks like it's going to be in front of DeCiani. Whoa! He makes the move, and Paul Hill goes with him.
Well, these 2 just got reunited, so it's going to take them a while to get back up to actual bump speed, but here they come. And I think when they do, I don't know how much love they're going to show Paul Hill. He has definitely got to feel like the cousin in amongst siblings, but maybe they'll show him a little cousin love. Who knows? We'll have to see.
That's a good question. Paul Hill from Black Cat Racing in amongst the trio from Fortis. It's got to be a tough spot to be in. He's got to be looking left and right, forward and backward in his mirror, wondering what exactly he's gotten himself into the middle of. It's a good place to be, second place. But honestly, it's a tough place to be when you're in the middle of the teammates, regardless.
Roger, now we got Christy Johnson. He is up top with Greg Wachinski, Ryan Strunk. They also got Mark Sanchez and Kenny Powell. Clayton Hoffman finds himself all the way from third place all the way back now to where he's sitting. I think I'm showing him in 17th. But these guys are up top trying to make this top line do a little dance right now, though it's not making any love for them.
No, unfortunately not. And I think we've only got about 5 laps to go till we're the end of stage 2. 45 is where we're going. We're looking for lap 45 for the end of stage 2.
And definitely we're going to call this go time, because once you're under 10 laps or 5 laps, let's say 5 laps when you're at a super speedway, that's time to actually start to put the hammer down and start to shake your moves out. So no doubt these guys up top are going to be doing everything they can. Zelenka a little bit straddling the line there. He's trying to figure out how he can make his car go faster.
Yeah, a little bit of a wave out of Zelenka there. Not really staying tucked in the bubble very well. A little bit of a blink out of the front there. We got to make sure our connections stay good tonight, boys. But Zelenka just a little bit wild there. Here comes a lap car.
That's
up on the outside. Here comes some traffic.
Everybody making it by him right now, no problem. That's going to allow Heitman to get his lead sparked up just a little bit. And you're right, Derek blinking at just the most inopportune time. That's not what people want to see right there when they're trying to put their nose up in you.
Yep, that was the 11 of Matthew Cisna there, making his way on the outside as the lap car, just trying to give a little bit of room. He's tucked in right now in front of the 3 of David Gervais up on the outside, but back up in front, it's Derek Heitman, Paul Hill, Matt DiCiani in the 1, 2, 3. Another lap car coming up here.
What's up with the lap traffic?
Looks like some people got lost at the back of the group.
That's the 49 car.
Yes, sir. I believe that is Clapper Newell.
There you go. Wasn't expecting to see that. That definitely at this stage right here. But here we go. We're going to be 3 to go. 2 at the line. Heitman getting it done. He's putting it right where he needs to be. Wachinski's got the high line there, starting to fall back. Don't know if those guys are actually going to find the speed they need, indeed, to be able to actually make a race for it. But Heitman not slowing down, not showing any signs of slowing down whatsoever.
No, sir, not with Paul Hill. Paul Hill, what a move that he made to follow Heitman down. He knew he was going to have the pace to make it to second place and avoid anything, any unsavory bumping up there. He took that opportunity. He's been holding on to it since he came up to this spot. I don't think that he's going to let these guys from Fortis take that spot away from him anytime soon.
Yeah, speaking of unsavory bumping there, a little bit of tip between the 5 and the 77. Sit the 77 high. Going to cost him a lot of spots. Now these guys are starting to do a little bit of a bump, trying to get it going. Still not yet to get the top line, the oomph that it needs, but they're starting to actually gain momentum. Chris Johnson's going to jump up. He's going to jump in there with him.
Not a bad place. You know, the top line has had some speed in the past. Speaking of which, here come the Fortis boys to the top line.
And that was just a matter of time. These guys are going to run the high line because, they've been able to make it work. Heitman's going to try to get up front. He gets a bump from his teammate.
Big bump, huge.
Hill in the middle. He is starting to slide away. That's not going to be good for him.
Ooh, getting flushed.
White flag's out. Top 10 to get in.
Hill's got nowhere to go. He just got freight trained to the very back of the line.
Zelenka doing what he can. Not enough. Got to close that gap, though, between that top line and that bottom line. They're looking to try to make that side draft work. That bottom 3, though, no love, no lease, man. They're not actually able to close it and capitalize. But look
Not
at
at all.
Heitman go.
There's been some contact between a few cars behind. We have some moves coming here. Chris Johnson making the move down to the inside. He's getting help from Vincent Crowe, fighting against the trio. The yellow flag is out, though.
Caution flag is out. That's going to end stage 2. Derek Heitman. Congratulations to your stage 2 winner. Matt DeCiani bringing it home in second. Patrick Gitter third. Christine Johnson fourth. Fifth place shows Vincent Crowe. Sixth, Jermaine Vine. Seventh, Bacon Zelenka. Eighth place, Tim Wortman Jr. Ninth, Kevin Zosiak. And Kendall LeBron is going to round out the top 10 with stage 2 in the books. We'll be back with whoever Joe Loco wants to talk to.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
And we are back with Derek Heitman, your stage 2 winner, standing by for Joe.
Hey there, Derek. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You must be riding pretty high right now. Congrats on the stage 2 win.
Thanks. I'm glad I could get up there and contend for it.
You had some pretty great moves up there, I got to say. We were talking to Patrick Gitter a little bit earlier. He said that you are an unofficial member of Fortis Motorsports. Is that right?
Yeah, unofficially.
Okay, well, you're doing great things for them today. Clearly, there was that move that you made where you ended up taking Paul Hill with you over there to the front, and then Hill unfortunately got flushed right down the center as you made your move back up to the top. Did you think he was going to come with you when you made that move?
Honestly, no, I didn't think he was going to come top. I wish he would have stayed bottom because I made sure to pull him through when he pushed me all the way up to the front. I made sure to pull him through so he could get a spot in line, and I wish he would have stayed bottom there because he could have got some stage points. But I think he tried to come top, and there just wasn't enough time, so he got stuck in the sucker hole and went to the rear.
Yeah, unfortunate, and we've seen that happen time and time and again. If you end up in the middle, there's just not much left for you there, but you used a great push from your teammate. You got absolutely slammed from DeCiani going towards the checkered flag there. Great job holding on to that. And looking forward to the last stage here. Anybody you want to shout out to or thank for your stage 2 win?
Yeah, I mean, shout out my teammates, of course, Matt and Pat and Fortis Motorsports. Definitely, this is where the unofficial part comes in because we don't run the same setups. So shout out Ryko Motorsports. Ken Byron builds us sick pieces every single week in order to keep us competitive. So Ryko.gg for your setups on the sim market. And then shout out you guys in the booth. You know, you guys do a great job every single week. Putting these together and keeping the fans entertained, and of course Kenny for putting on the league.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. Good luck with the rest of your race.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care. That was Derek Heitman. We're going to go ahead and get the rest of the race to you. Back to you, Big Al.
Derek Heitman, your Stage 2 winner. We were doubled up again, ready to go make more money for our friends and sponsors here. Stage 2 through 2 stages. Looks like we've only had one caution so far. We didn't get to do the over-under on cautions. I don't know if that's something that you're going to keep going or not. But usually for the race, we kind of come up with a round idea of how many cautions we guesstimate.
Well, we haven't had one yet.
Yes,
officially,
we've
right?
had one official.
Oh, we've only had one this race. I was going to say we were going to have 3 this race.
You're going to go with 3. My man Kobe behind the scenes, what's your call? Kobe's going to call 2, and I guess I'll go ahead and chomp down on 4.
All right.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stick with the 1.
Okay, not bad. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I don't need another meat tray.
I don't think anybody does.
Lights off on the pace car. He's getting ready to go down and away. Derek Heitman going to be taking us racing as we start Stage 3, the third and final stage of the night's competition. Been generally caution-free up to this point. Been a great race. More great racing to come. Heitman leads us through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out, and we are racing.
Decent start for Heitman on the top line, getting ready for a little push from Clayton Hoffman there. Right behind him, it's Matt DiCiani, and right behind him, Patrick Gitter for a line of 4. They're up on the outside, but I got a feeling they're going to transition down as soon as they can. We'll see what happens as we go into 1 and 2.
It's going to be their choice right now. Knowing that high line is actually going to be a little bit faster, this is that stage, though, where I think a lot of drivers probably going to be trying to take it easy here. Definitely going to have to stop at least once for some gas, barring that there's no caution. You know, this is one of those things, though, I think you got to keep that. You got to stay in the lead draft. This is not the time to lose that lead draft, because when you do, I think you're going to play heck to try to catch those guys back up. And there's certain guys that I do believe that you just don't want to let run away with this thing, and that's going to be any Fordish driver.
Whoop. Yellow flag is out. That's almost okay. That's another one for the tally, but the yellow flag is going to fly. Don't know exactly what caused that.
Well, this is actually an admin flag. We had a lot of drivers that had black flags, so it looks like Kenny actually threw an admin black to clear this. So this would not actually count against the total.
Okay, hey. Well, I will go ahead and allow it this time, but I was pretty close to getting a point towards my over-under.
Well, we got you, boss. But, yeah, we had at least 7 or 8 drivers in the field to actually accumulate black flags on that run right there. It might have been something with the offset on the restart, but that's going to bring the pace car back out one good more time.
Well, that's all right. Get things lined up again here. Thankfully, we've got good admins on the ball. Taking care of business one by one.
Yeah, this, I believe he probably will keep this as a 1 to go. Nope.
Sorry about that, Big L. Just had some headset trouble.
Look, all I know is I'm glad this was not my fault, because, you know, these laps matter.
Well, the strategy for, I wonder if anybody's going to take this time to pit. Probably not, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're not going to really gain anything on that.
Yeah, too early for that. Too early to gain anything from pitting on that.
Well, one good thing is we get to practice restarts again. Because I'm going to tell you, the third one was the charm, because that restart was probably the best restart that it was the best restart that we've had of the evening. Top line did not waste any time getting organized and gone. Bottom line actually was a little slow to start on that one.
It was. I noticed that. The top line really got a good... It wasn't like a jump, but it was definitely more momentum upstairs than down. Okay, looks like we are 1 to green.
And the last black flag was just cleared. Doubled up, ready to go. Lights off on the pace car. Getting ready to go back one more time. For those of you just joining us, we are in stage 3 here at our beautiful running of the Daytona 313. Not a lot of lead changes. Two different winners through 2 stages.
Yep.
Patrick Gitter your stage 1 winner. Heitman stage 2. Heitman also is going to lead us off here now. Space car down and away. Coming to that Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. And we are on the way.
Looks like it might be the bottom line that's actually getting a little bit more momentum. Nope, I spoke too soon. Here comes the 4 of Brian Johnson getting a push from behind from Jermaine Vines. Johnson using the side draft very, very good, well here, staying close to that inside line, pulling them back as he gets the speed.
Not sure what happened in the field, man. It's like everybody did not get the memo that we were actually going green. So yeah, the field is totally disintegrated.
Yeah, big split right now between the front of the field and the back. And there goes Johnson. He fell back a couple positions there. He's holding on to 7th. While out at the front, we've got Heitman, Hoffman, and DeCiani. Patrick Gitter, all 3 of the Fortis team out there in the front, and then Hoffman.
Yeah, that feels more broke than that bowling ace you made there last night there, Joe.
You got me there. Decent lineup at the front, single file almost all the way back. We're looking at single file almost all the way to the back of the pack. The only hornet's nest is way back there, where we see a couple of cars just still trying to get themselves sorted out. That's the 19th, the 19 of Jay Hone. Jay Hone down there. Mark Sanchez now leading that group on the inside.
You know, and whenever you look back at far back in the pack back there and you see those guys racing 3 wide, it always kind of like scares me just a little bit.
Here on the broadcast, we see Alex Carr chasing down Bacon Zelenka. Alex is in the bubble right now. He's got the speed. He's going to get caught up to Zelenka. Looking at the tail of that Ford. Here's the view outside the back of Carr's car. Little gap, pretty good gap forming between him and Mark Sanchez ahead of him. But he's in the bubble right now with Zelenka. He's made his way back up to the front of the group, and the front group is starting to collapse back on itself a little bit here as we get things going for the 3rd stage of this Daytona race on the ISCA.
Starting to go. Little single file here. Greg Wachinski was the last car in the lead pack to actually drop down in the line. Lead pack actually, he's a breakaway. Looks like to be, I'll tell you exactly, 21 cars.
It's a good group. And there you can see the rest of the field filing in after those 21 cars. The gap between Wachinski and Sanchez, a sizable 2nd and change. This doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it adds up here on the field. When you're not in that bubble, you may never catch up to it, especially if you don't get help.
It'd be interesting to see if Wachinski actually pumps the brakes just a little bit to allow his G&G teammate, Mark Sanchez, to actually drag that group up here.
That'd be nice. That would be really good for him. Just a little bit bouncing out. That was Dave Fuge. He looked like he was trying to make a move. Didn't quite have anything on the outside. Came back real quick. Held onto the inside line now. Behind him, he's got Nick King, also a little bit wide on that turn, coming back. Most of these guys staying pretty close to the line, especially here on the straight. King watching for a position. Doesn't quite have one. He's going to stay on the inside as well.
Yeah, you're going to probably see guys moving up and down a little bit, just trying to clear the nose off, maybe get some cold air going across it, not disrupt it too much. Everybody's leaving themselves nice little spaces in the line. That doesn't actually bode well for speed, if you will, but I imagine it's going to go really good for comfort.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of wiggling going on, a little bit of waggling, but no one's the wiggling and waggling I've been seeing so far I thought maybe would relate or translate into someone trying to make a move, but there's nowhere to make a move to. If you try to go ahead of you, the guy ahead of you is just is tail to nose with the car in front of him. So you put the car on the outside, you're going to need some incredible speed, and you're going to have to make up 2, 3, 4 places to try to wait for a gap to form if there isn't one waiting for you.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, strategies be what they may, but I think that the best thing to do is just to kind of stay in line. I mean, this is the part of the flight where, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt signs. Feel free to move. Everybody's just out there. You're just in traffic.
Yep. I sometimes would call this the Sunday drive section of a race, where you just got to stay in line, drive the car, straight line, Sunday drive. Not a lot of aggression out of these drivers right now. Just want to get as far as they can on the tank of gas that they have before their fuel strategy starts to kick in.
Yeah, we'll still be monitoring that gap between Wojcinski and Sanchez just to see if these guys can actually start to close it up a little bit. Green flag pit stop should be the next thing that these guys are actually starting to think about. I know it's still early. We just got going good. They're not even halfway through the run. But you still got to start figuring that out, because if you're going to go with your guys, you need to be getting together now, sooner than later, in my opinion.
Well, you've got some guys that are working together. The group at the front, previously they were staying very tight, these guys from Fortis, but with Clayton Hoffman in the mix, they're not staying as tight as they were previously. Hoffman is staying very tight to Heitman. He's extremely close. But there's a little gap between Hoffman and DeCiani, a little gap between DeCiani and Gitter. Just not as tight as it was. Still a lot of beautiful single file racing right now. Everybody keeping things low, down to the yellow line, wiggling just to get that clean air, like you said, a little bit. Everyone can run the risk of overheating here pretty easily if you stay too close. But this front group here, these 21 cars up at the front, they've got everything locked down. They know exactly how things are going. And the group at the back has started to catch up. If we look now at the gap between Wojcinski and Sanchez, it's virtually non-existent.
Yeah, Rogers, that sun's starting to set in the Florida sky. It looks like we're 76 degrees on the street, 72 degrees in the seats. I mean, that's just beautiful weather right there for February racing at Daytona Beach. Wind's going to be
beautiful.
3 miles an hour out of the east, which is like, that's just beautiful weather right there.
Now a top line has finally started to form at the hands of Greg Wojcinski. He slid out. Now he's taking Bacon Zelenka on the outside a little bit. He's got some help right now from the 29 of Mark Sanchez. So the two guys who were previously forming the gap between the front and the back, they're working together now as Sanchez pushes Wojcinski forward. And the inside line finally has some competition from the outside line as we keep going here into lap 62 out of 125.
Yeah, that outside line, these guys have been waiting to get up here and actually state their case. The G&G guys are stacked up 1, 2, 3 there. As you see Wojcinski, Sanchez, and Powell. They're actually right up top there on that second line, trying to pull these guys up by their bootstraps or Goodyears, if you will.
Well, let's see if they can, because this side-by-side racing, while it's good and exciting, it does slow down both lines. So if both lines are slowing down, they're going to find themselves in even deeper of a hole when it comes to climbing out of it and try to get to that front group if they can't. So we'll see what happens. I have a feeling that right now Heitman and Hoffman, they're not too worried. But Wojcinski and Sanchez, they're looking for a spot to get back down to the inside line and get pushed all the way to the front.
They've actually closed that gap a lot of bit since they've been running a little bit higher on the racetrack. Now they're starting to bring it down a little bit, and they are just like that, starting to put 2 into 1. Both packs are actually starting to join now, and we even have a little bit of a high line.
Yeah, the Highline resisted the urge to tuck in behind Crow. They said, we've still got the speed. Let's use it. Here comes Wachinski, just driving like a maniac, passing Nick King now on the inside, coming up alongside Dave Fuge.
Wachinski the maniac. I love it. We're halfway through this thing right now, and it has been nothing short than a spectacular show. Everybody's still doing what they got to do to hotline right now.
Whoa, big slides in the back. Almost a wreck out of the cars in the backfield there. I think that was a single-digit car. That might have been Gervais. I'm not really sure, but it was a black and red car in the back that just had some really, really tough wiggles and almost lost control. Ended up saving itself, though, and coming back out. So, phew. Almost had our next yellow.
Little big wiggles. Big wiggles got him excited back there. Well,
big wiggles indeed.
Wachinski and his crew actually pulled up. They were actually able to get a good run on that lead pack, but then just like that, the lead cars broke away. So now we got ourselves a breakaway of 4 cars. And that lead car breakaway of 4 cars, when they hooked up, they were gone.
Yeah, they're out of there. A little bit of a hornet's nest forming right now. No one's sure which line they're in. The back, the cars are into it. Alex Carr, Greg Carr just collided, sent another car up into the wall. We're still green.
Oh! Back on. And that's going to definitely probably bring a caution out. Still no caution, still green. But Carr,
that was the 25. Oh my God. That was the 25 of Greg Carr just sliding back up on the field and getting destroyed.
I think he hit the 43 of Paul Olsen. Greg Carr also finds himself with a repairs required. Paul Olsen repairs required. Jeremy Clapper Newell repairs required. Yeah, and you'll see right there, the 25 is going to be backwards. It's going to turn her around. And right here, when you think it's all well, he comes right back up onto the racing surface. The 49 had nowhere to go, which ultimately puts the 43 into the corner pocket.
Yikes. Oh. Unfortunate situation to be in if you're either of the cars or the 49 in that case of Jeremy Clapper Newell, our only Canadian driver right now.
Canadian?
That's right.
Hey, we love you. And you know, unfortunately for you guys, no caution flag. You know, so we continue green flag racing. Even for those guys involved in that little mix-up right there, they're still going to have to get their damage repaired under green flag conditions. And on a track like Daytona, that's going to take forever. Just getting back around to pit road, which right now we're seeing the 25 and the 49 come down pit road. Lots of cars on pit road. I believe we got 5 cars down pit road right now at this time.
Yep. Sounds about right, to be honest. Back out on the road. Paul Hill has taken control of Group 2 behind the top pack of 4. A lot of action out of this during the replay time. There was a lot of sorting going on in this group. A little bit of that Hornet's Nest action that we saw earlier, but it looks like everybody's got things sorted out a little bit. Nick King out to the inside, losing some positions a little bit. Unfortunately, he's a man alone, trying to find a spot to get back down. He's not going to be able to, unfortunately.
Yeah, he definitely got washed out, and the 24 Kenny Powell was right there, not even giving him a chance to check up, if you will. But hey,
no, sir.
Now, Powell's going to be doing everything he can to kind of, in the 29, you'll see he's kind of bridging that gap, trying to get his G&G teammate to pull back up so we can get this group back together. They need to get reorganized. especially if they're going to have any chance of catching that lead pack of four. Because those four cars, Derek Hayton, Hoffman, DeCiani, and Patrick Gitter, that makes up that four-car breakaway. And right now, they're only extending their lead.
Yeah, they're 4 seconds away right now, and that gap is increasing. It increased by 1/10 just in my last second of speaking. So, if anything, these guys in the back, they have got to start working together and find some speed. If they can find it, they can catch up to those guys in the front. But those guys in the front have got it locked. And if they've got it locked in place, it's just going to be hard to catch no matter what you do. But the more competition, the more fighting that happens, the less speed you're going to have.
Yeah, and that's really probably going to dictate to those first four. You know, they're probably their stopping sequence, if you will. I mean, 3 of those guys are together anyway. So we'll definitely be watching them to see how that plays out. Still got a while to go before we're actually hoping for our green flag pit stops. I always speak them like they're going to happen, like they're a guarantee. You know what I mean? I don't even want to think about this race having anything other than green flag pit stops.
Yep, exactly. Let's just keep going until we see that start to happen here. It's going to be, I don't know how much gas these guys have in terms of 100%. How many laps that would be? Do you know off the top of your head?
40 laps is what they're gonna squeeze out there. And I'm gonna tell you, I believe the majority of these guys are probably gonna get every ounce of that out of the tank. Well, actually, no. They'll have plenty of gas to make it.
Well, that's about 13 laps left before they're going to have to start pitting here, if that's the case, because we started the stage at 45, so we're looking for 85 here for the gas limit.
Yeah, and that'll give them plenty to make it to the end. So some guys will probably fill it up. Some guys might not. I mean, that'll be, I think, what we're looking for. And then, because of super speedway, you don't necessarily have to take tires. So you're probably going to see some guys maybe take left sides. Some guys might take 4. I haven't actually seen the breakdown yet, but just speaking of how it usually works at Daytona.
And these strategies coming in, we've actually got a couple of 5 new drivers new to the ISCA for this race. You know what? Only 2 of the top 25 drivers didn't return from last season. So these guys have got a lot of strategy time against each other too. They know how to race against each other, and that's going to come into play also as they see who's taking pits and when.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, and there's nothing wrong with racing. I've been successful in racing in other leagues, but I bank on the cautions, because it always puts the field back together. Well, here you can't do that. You can't count on there being another caution. So when you got those 4 cars that are out there, I mean, if you don't catch them, you might not see them again.
That's right. Not in the ISCA. I've noticed that this is a field that keeps things very clean. We've had a couple of bang-ups, but as you've seen, the race admins can say, hey, that was just 1 or 2 cars. They're off the field. They're going to be gone before we come back around. We're going to keep it green. And even without that, there's been so few moments tonight where I've been worried about an accident or worried about too aggressive driving. These guys have got it down. They know how to race clean, and they know how to keep the strategy something where it's more like chess and less like boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd much rather play chess than box.
Yeah, getting punched in the head is not usually on the top of the list of things for me either. Not to say boxing doesn't have strategy, but I think you know what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, just not my sport, especially as I get older and slower and fatter. I'm finding myself to be more in tune with things that allow you just to sit and not move great distances real fast.
Yep. Well, you know what? Driving a car is a great way to sit, and you get to move a great distance real fast all at the same time. It's one of those weird paradoxical things like that. Taking a look at the front, the gap has increased between Paul Hill and Patrick Gitter now to almost 6 seconds. However, at the back, Kendall LeVron pops out, tries to make the move. Vincent Crowe pops out, tries to get some help. There's a little bit of work going on here. Some potential moves going on the outside line. There goes the big push. Wachinski, he's out. An outside line quickly formed, quickly moved to the front, and is down to the inside. Kendall LeVron and Vincent Crowe taking over the front of that group. They've got the speed. They're breaking away now.
Yet another breakaway starting to actually unfold right there.
Oh, Crowe with a little bit loosey goosey there. It's gonna cost him some. It's starting to make me think maybe it was Paul Hill that was holding back that group a little bit, but no, Paul Hill is catching up now. Hill's caught up to Wortman. Tim Wortman Jr. there. Getting the push from Paul Hill. He's right behind Vincent Crowe. Crowe trying his best to stay on the back of Kendall LeVron. LeVron with the move that really inspired a bunch of those guys to pop up to the outside line. But Wyszynski just couldn't get enough of that pie from the outside, and it looks like he's just not benefiting from the speed that those other guys got, that Kendall got, that Vincent got. He's just not benefiting from that speed as he struggles to find the line there on the outside.
Watching these guys as we continue to roll around. 48 laps to go in this contest, scheduled for 125 laps. Got ourselves a breakaway there for the lead cars. Watching the gaps on that as it starts to slowly come together. I think it's at 6.7 seconds right now, the distance between Patrick Gitter in fourth place and Kendall LeVron in fifth.
That's about right. And behind that, we've got a group of two wides going on. Oh, wow. Bacon Zelenko with a big slide on the back straightaway. Looks like it came almost out of nowhere. He recovered from that, though. A little bit more activity there. Fuge almost getting hit. He's door to door right now with Kenny Powell. It's definitely getting a little wild there behind this group of five who has started to pull away and make their way back up toward the front group. That 6 second gap is now under 6 seconds between LeVron and Gitter. And now we have groups all over the field.
Yeah, we're just sitting back watching this thing because, right now I'm just kind of trying to get an idea of how green flag pit stops are going to look. We're right now.
Oh, yeah.
We're 7 laps away from these things, and we're literally 6 laps away from the window.
Well, we're going to find out pretty soon.
Still beating and banging in that second pack. These guys are not actually able to keep it together, and every time they get there and they start to fan out, that's just costing them precious seconds. They're not going to catch that lead pack if they can't keep it together.
Yeah, at the back of that pack is Jay Hone, and then further back, Bacon Zelenko, who recovered from a very big slide a few laps ago. Bacon's a man alone right now, bit of an island. Just a little bit ahead of Matthew Cisna, who also has a little group that he's traveling with. That group could catch up to and start to push Mr. Zelenka a little bit. That would be helpful to him, get him back up to Hone. But we'll see, as right now he comes around through 1 and 2 into the backstretch. Excuse me, through 2, 3, and 4 into the front.
Green flag racing continues. And it's been clean and green, except for that one bubble that we had there in the beginning of somewhere in the beginning of stage 1. And then we had another run of contact that did not actually bring out a caution, but it did send 3 cars behind the wall.
Yes, it did. And here we have a view up on the leaders. There's Derek Heitman up in front. You can see Clayton Hoffman has, again, just been sticking to that bumper the entire way. This pack of 4 has looked like this for probably the past 20 laps, 25 laps, with Hoffman hot on the heels of Heitman, with DeCiani and Gitter giving each other just a little bit of space behind that. These guys are lined up and absolutely dialed in.
Yeah, out of the 39 cars that we actually had to start this thing, looks like we still have 35 cars that are in contention. 35 cars that are still out there running, and what I'm showing out of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's got to be more than that. I think we're going to show that 27 are on the lead lap.
Something like that. I think so. Let me take a look. Yep, 29 cars are on the lead lap.
29 cars on the lead lap. That's not bad, especially at a racetrack like Daytona, guys. Well, this track is known for attrition.
That's right. We're going to lose them bit by bit. But you know what? We're almost to the triple digits on laps here. We only have about another 15 laps to go. But we are on, was it lap 84 right now? We had the stage break at 45. So we should be seeing some pit stops here very, very soon.
Yeah, drivers are actually 3 laps now. They're actually 2 laps out of the window, 3 laps before they actually need to pit. So definitely within the next 3 laps, you're going to start to see green flag pit stops. So drivers at this point are going to be starting to separate as well as organize. It's not going to be that big of a deal about the position that you're at when you get in. It's just going to be about hitting those markers, getting that car slowed down, keeping it pointed the right direction. You don't want to get a black flag. We'll be watching for that. You know, there's a guy that used to work here. He used to call races with me. He's Big Al, but that was his name. And he used to have this saying that he would say all the time. He'd say that you race for show, but you pit for dough.
Oh, I like that. He sounds like a wise dude.
Nah, he was a dumbass.
All right. Fair enough. I would never call him that to his face.
All right, I think we're right now smack dab in the middle of our pit window, guys.
Let's see who bites.
That means if the caution flag were to come out, we would actually be able to make it to the end of this thing. I think you're going to start to see takers this time by.
Let's find out. We've got some chatter right now on the radios. I think they're talking about when it's time to go in. We're going to find out who's going to burn the most gas. Yeah, we'll find out who's burning the most gas, not our leaders.
Yeah, the leaders passed, and that pretty much guarantees and solidifies that everybody else is going to pass as well. The one thing these guys are looking at, they're looking to the leaders to see when these guys are going to come down, and they're going to be asking. They're going to be wanting to know how much time each one of those guys were actually spent in the box. But they got to concentrate on themselves, because this right here, this could determine this race here, guys.
With how things have been going, absolutely. This could be like we've seen breakaways from the lead. So a bad pit from any of these 4 cars could change the fate for the cars behind them. A really good pit for the cars in the back. Really what we want to see is we want to see how well these 4 cars at the front, these breakaway cars, how well do they handle the pit stop. They're not pitting this time.
And I'm going to tell you, it'd probably be a lot easier to say pit with 4 cars around you. Green flag pit stops, a lot of cars down on the road. The 44 is going to lead the charge. Randy Drumhiller, he has at least 4 cars with him.
Here comes some.
Green flag pit stops officially underway.
Yep, Brian Johnson, Drumhiller, Medina, Cisna, and Hone. Binder.
Leader still not coming in.
There we go.
Leader's pit road. There they go.
Contact between Derek Heitman Clayton Hoffman. Hoffman just giving Heitman a bit of a shunt as they come down towards pit road.
Jose Medina, he's going to be the first one to get that dreaded black flag there for his pit activities.
Wonder if that's going to be any damage there on Heitman.
Not showing any damage right now that's measurable. He might have a little bit of incidental.
He just lost the race off pit road.
That's not bad. I think we'll cycle through most of the field there on those pit stops.
That's right. Bacon Zaleka down at the line as our cars come up. He tries to slot in behind the leaders.
Still
tries
not
to
bad.
use them for a push.
Still not bad. Only one car getting the meatball flag there out of the pit stops.
Yes, sir. Zelenka still technically also on the lead lap. He's going to use this pack of 4 as best he possibly can. We got a nice group also coming out of pit road here. Here come the leaders again, once more around. Looks like Zelenka fell off the group. Headed down pit road himself.
Yep, should be coming to the end of those green flag pit stop sequence. Bacon Zelenko probably will be one of the last. Just like that, we're still clean and green. Jose Medina kind of right there in the middle. Drivers going around him. That lead 4 still out there making it happen. We're watching those guys. Going to see him measure their distance to see what that gap's going to be.
Eyes on the front of the group right now. That group of 4 has a 7.5 second gap right now on Kendall Levron and the group behind them. Levron leading his own group of 4 to try to catch up to Hoffman and Gitter. Hoffman, Heitman, DeCiani, and Gitter. That's a tough group to catch, though. That's a lot of fast cars in that group. Hoffman, Gitter at the back. He's going to be able to keep pace very well. Hoffman is setting the pace like a champ. Those guys are up all different positions from where they started. Only Gitter is down 2. He started in 2nd. He's in 4th right now. But up in 1st, it's Hoffman who's up 12 positions. In 2nd, it's Heitman up 10 positions. And DeCiani's up 5.
A lot of big moves there in that pack. Probably some of the biggest moves that we actually have on the track. We'll be watching that just to see how some of these guys qualified versus where they're actually at, because we know that's actually two different processes, right? The qualifying run versus the race.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here's a little bit of something. I think this is the nose of Greg Wyszynski. Wyszynski coming down, hugging that yellow line. Nice, clean, smooth drive. Looking back right now, there's Sanchez behind him.
It's like our biggest mover of the race thus far is going to be Tim Wortman Jr., currently being shown in 7th place, qualified all the way back in 32nd. So way to go, Tim Wortman Jr. We'll be watching you, buddy.
Yeah, this is a good spot to be up 25 positions. You've really been putting in time over the race to get to where you want to be, and we're at 93 laps, almost just 30 laps to go to the end of today's race. It's a good spot to be in.
Honor Banks really off the pace right there. Is kind of watching that situation kind of unfold. Nope, sorry, that was the 56.
That's all right. That's Christy Johnson. Yep.
Watching Johnson.
Here he comes up to Dave Fuge. See what happens.
A
lot of waggling behind him. Johnson's got the nose of his car right up against Dave Fuge. Behind him, it looks like Randy Drumhiller just a few paces back. He falls off the pace a little bit.
And unfortunately, right now, man, this lead is just
it's a solid lead, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's a solid
7.5
lead.
seconds and rising. It's going to be a tough one to beat. That team led by Kendall LeBron, if they want to have any chance of catching them, the cohesion's got to be insane. But I really think it's going to have to come from a mistake at the front, or some ambition at the front, some fighting at the front, something at the front.
It never comes from the front.
I know, but that's where it's gotta. The status quo has to change. That's what's got to happen right now. And the status quo is just too set.
Chaos comes from the rear.
I think that second group needs to cycle someone else to the front.
You know, when those guys watch this race back, they're probably going to be sitting there saying, we were thinking the same thing. Yeah, but it's one of those things where you've got to do that sometimes. Just you got to shake it up, break it up. You want to make that time up.
You just don't want to be that guy that cycles back from the front, ends up in the back of the chain, and then loses the bubble, and you just get hung out to dry by the team that you just brought to the front. Let's see what happens here. Across the line goes Kendall LeBron. There go the leaders. Leaders are just tucking underneath a lap car there. The number 3 stays high. That's Dave Gervais. As LeBron gets underneath with his line, trying to catch our leaders. That gap still just subtly increasing. Laps left to the triple digits here before we've got 25 laps left in the race. So 28 total here, folks. Thanks for joining us here on the ISCA's live broadcast of the Daytona. What is it?
313.
313, the Daytona 313.
125 laps of sheer pleasure enjoyment.
I'm digging it. I'm enjoying it. We got a good split going on. We also got some incredible racing happening, and then these lap cars are starting to come into the mix here. This is how you want to see the late game kind of form up at some of these green flag races.
I see what you're doing.
Hyping it up.
You're just trying to talk that meat tray into your address.
I want to see a little carnage, just a little bit.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Not just yet, though, because I think you might actually. You're probably going to get to see what you're looking for. I hate to say it.
I didn't get to see it earlier, and I thought I was going to when we saw that accident from Greg Carr, but it did not happen.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate right there.
Yeah, unfortunate indeed. Kendall LeBron's group looks like they're just getting antsy right now. A lot of people getting out of position there. Some folks staying in the draft, but a lot of movement. Oh, looks like a bit of a cycling happening right now in that group. There goes a car to the back right now behind Vincent Crowe. It's Wortman Jr. Crowe in the middle. Wortman trying to keep up with speed. Let's see what he can do. Can he hold on to that spot? I think right now he is just ahead of Andrew Griesbaum and the 18 of Alex Carr. That pack of 6 cars there still trying to make time. They have cut down the time just a little bit, down from 8 seconds to just under 8 seconds. The time is tightening up. There could be some pressure hitting the guys at the front of the group that's causing this to happen. They've had to get around a few lap cars here and there. Everyone's going to lift a little bit around those guys.
Yeah, the key is right now just kind of trying to maintain what they got right there. They just really want to just keep their head down and maintain the lead that they have. No sense doing anything that's going to, cause that to be in jeopardy. And don't want to give the other guys an opportunity to catch it. Make them catch it.
Yeah, you don't want to give it to them on a silver platter, and it doesn't look like they are, to be fair. They're not giving anything on a silver platter here right now. But the size of the silver platter, Big Al, is shrinking. It's getting smaller. We're down to 7.5 seconds now, which means time is on their side. If they stick with it and they stick with this plan, they could get down two within a second if they keep going at this pace within the next 10 laps. And they've only got another 25 to get it done, or another 23 to get it done.
Big lumps going through that back of the field right there. 3 wide situation developing. The 29 had to check up, which caused the 24 to check up. Now the 24 is going to make contact with the 58. These guys are still trying to sort it out. Still not out of danger just yet.
No, sir. The 24 getting a big push right now from Chris Johnson. Kenny Powell in the ISCA car getting the push. Getting a block now from Mark Sanchez. Sanchez blocking the top line. He's back down to the inside. Nope, he's staying up top. A little bit of a back and forth there. Parabola out of Sanchez. But Powell's going to stick behind him, and he's going to bring Johnson with him.
No doubt Sanchez wanting to pick up a little help from his G&G teammate, the 24, Kenny Powell. And Johnson, he's no stranger to this fray. He used to be a G&G guy before last year when he actually took his talents over to Paradigm.
Now we got Sanchez still out in front. This group getting around the lap car right now. Lots of activity here from these guys as they get around. Sanchez door-to-door with Dave Fuge. He's high on the inside. Fuge down below, wiggling, like crazy. That's the 5 of Wyszynski. Fuge trying to stay on the back of that car, just barely able to hang on as Sanchez makes the lead and the push on the top with the outside line. And then the merge occurs. Is it going to happen? Are they going to stick it? Yes, they are. Sanchez down to the inside with 4 cars with him.
These guys trying to make a surge. They're waiting to see if the second half of the top line is actually going to join them to try to get single file to maybe actually make a collective push towards closing that gap that the leaders have. So far, no joy. It's the 3 cars still staying high. Starting to come down, though.
Starting to come down is right. We're down to 6.5 seconds now between the lead group and Kendall Levron's group. Kendall Levron, his group's gotten a little smaller over time. He's down to 4 cars now, but he's still holding on to the speed that he's able to get from Vincent behind him. Crow giving him a good push. The 3 of them have got a nice line going. That's Levron, Crow, Wortman Jr. They're doing great right now, and if they can keep up this pace, they're going to be doing even better.
Yeah, 3 cars, 4 cars. That seems to be the magic numbers there. Hadn't seen anybody actually get it done with 2, but we have seen a 3-car breakaway and a 4-car breakaway. And looks like the Tim Wortman Jr. pack is actually, Kendall Levon, Vincent Crow, and Tim Wortman Jr. They're making it work with 3.
They are making it work with 3. I'm seeing right now, Al, that they're sitting around 6.5 seconds, though, and it's not getting much better. Time was on their side. They had the time to make up this. It's only been a couple of laps, but if they don't keep the pace up where they're shaving time off every lap, then they're not going to have the pace. And so I think that this group in the back really needs Providence to strike down the group in the front for anything to happen here.
Still lots of laps left to go.
It's true. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it is.
But we're under 20. Tell you what, we're gonna take a brief step away, get another word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back and give you uninterrupted coverage of the finish of this thing. So we're gonna take a pause for the calls.
went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back with continued coverage of the ISCA 313. Getting it done here as we're almost done, coming down to the last, looks like 14 laps or so.
Yep. 14 to go.
No major changes on the dance floor.
Not right now. Out in front, it's still Hoffman, Heitman, DeCiani, and Gitter. That group of four that's taken a breakaway from the rest of the group. They're still 7 seconds out from Kendall LeVron and the rest of the pack there. So that group at the front, all three members of Fortis Racing are in that group out in the front. And I think Clayton Hoffman is from Altus Racing. So there's a group of four that has a buddy with them. And they're out in front right now with two lap cars just hanging on for some cool points. Here comes some more lap cars right now for the lead group.
Yeah, that lead group's going to get a little bigger, their pack is.
Let's see what happens. So these guys are probably going to go up to the outside. That's how most of the lap cars have been dealing with things so far, but looks like they're not. The lead is signaling they're going to take the outside right now as the 33 and the 11 stay low. 33 and the 11, that's Randy Belk and Matthew Cisna. Cisna and Belk down low. Wow, falling back very far is Belk.
Oh, we got trouble with Bender. Bender goes through the infield. He's going to find himself on pit road coming back through the grass. Somebody send that man a bill.
Oh, no, yeah.
Racing continues. He got a little bit squirrely, had a little incidental contact with the 48 and the 12. Good recovery, though. Green flag racing continues.
Let's see it here. Here's Bacon Zelenka right into the side of him there again. Heavy hit into the 12. A little bit of incidental contact. That's going to be a lot of contact, actually. Was it the 12 or the 21? I couldn't quite tell. But either way, what contact there. That's the second unfortunate incident that Mr. Zelenka has been involved in so far tonight. Really not the way you want to start the season with the incidents going there. We'll see how that stacks up in terms of penalties or incident points later. If you remember, I think it was the Eric Kling accident earlier. That was also Bacon Zelenka, new to oval racing from what I understand. But so glad to have you. But definitely a game where situational awareness needs to be your top priority. And that's it's really tough when you're in the middle of the lane to not be in someone's way.
So, Bacon Zelenka being put in timeout by the guys up in the tower.
You've got 10 laps to go now. Clayton Hoffman still out in front. That group of lap cars that they passed has fallen back a little bit, but those 2 other lap cars are still holding on for the points, for the cool points, like I said.
Well, I do believe we might possibly have a caution, but I definitely don't think it's going to come from the front of the pack. I think the guys in the back might get a little bit squirrely because remember, this thing isn't over to the 10 pass.
That's right. That's right.
The leader.
I think when the 10th person passes, I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. Right now, though, the group to watch might be the group led by Mark Sanchez back in 9th place. That 9th place, that race for 9th, has about 12 cars in it. It's a pretty good group. They are a little bit wiggly. We're looking for maybe some moves here in the last couple moments of the race. But this is where some of the action could be. Right now, we see that Kenny Powell is getting the squeeze a little bit from Mark Sanchez. Chris Johnson behind him. They're trying to stay in line. This is the biggest group we have right now, behind the group of 2 groups of 4 ahead of them. So here's where the action's at.
They're having a hard time maintaining the pace just because of all of the kind of bumping and stopping they're doing right there. That line's pretty long, and it just when you think it's organized, they kind of get in there and start smacking into each other.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Mark Sanchez might need to cycle back a little bit. Powell looks like he's trying to drive through him a little bit here. It would be great if he had the room to get some of that speed going, but it's not transitioning into speed for Sanchez. He's giving him good bumps, and Powell's got a really good line on him, but it's just not transitioning into speed for Sanchez right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because Sanchez has been one of the fastest cars on the track tonight. He's been consistent. I mean, that has been one thing we can say about them. Those GNG guys actually have had a pretty solid showing as well. I think everybody's looking pretty good there for 2025. I hadn't really seen any teams that cause any alarm or suspicion.
Well, hopefully not suspicion. Alarm, I can handle. There goes that group now into the back stretch, led by Mark Sanchez. And you can see you sometimes get a line of cars that just keeps it straight through the back stretch, and you really get a lot of personality out of reading how a pack stays together. And this pack through the back stretch was just all over the place. Sanchez kind of drifted up to the center line a little bit. Powell's trying to stay on him, but he's also trying to stay competitive down on the line. So there's just not a lot of cohesion right now in this group of cars here. And if there was, they might have the speed they need to try to catch up to the guys in front of them. As it stands, it's a 22-second gap between Mark Sanchez and Paul Hill. So a pretty sizable distance that's not going to get made up here in the last 6 laps of the race.
Yeah, barring some unforeseen caution right here. We'll be watching the leaders as they come through. It will be 5 laps to go. It's 5 laps to go as the leaders cross the line. This is go time, official or otherwise. If you're going to make a move, this is about the time to start figuring out that move. With 2 to go, you kind of got to put it into play.
That's right. A couple lap cars behind. They're sliding into place. As you can see, Heitman has got the push for Hoffman. Hoffman's out in front. Heitman's going to be looking for some help from DeCiani if he can get it, and he will get it most likely. That's his teammate.
Pinsky around. That's going to bring out the caution. That is going to change everything, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Wachinski in the 5 car. Got him spinning right at the exit of pit road.
That's a caution right at a moment when one is this is going to create about a 2-lap sprint to the finish. We're going to get down to about 2 to go when we're back to green. And it's going to be a 2-lap sprint to the finish. Oh, there we go. Yep, that's Jermaine Vines right into the back of Greg Wachinski. Vines just giving him enough of a push to spin him around. That's wild. That's 1 car off to the middle, and we have the yellow flag. But earlier we had Craig Carr just get T-boned, and we just kept that the race kept on rolling. I'm glad for the yellow flag, though. I'll say that I'm glad for the yellow flag because it's going to stack everything up and it's going to make the end of this race an absolute nail biter.
So you're in favor of that?
I am. I will say that. I'm going to try to put a silver lining on this.
No, I mean, there's because the guys up front probably wouldn't vote for that, because when you're out front and you such a dominating performance too that we've seen from those guys, they've just been uncatchable. And now that if everything's stacked back up like this at the end, and you know what's going to happen, you got those freaking, 7-fro heroes that come out here and think that they ran a fast qualifying lap 2 years ago, so they got a chance to win this thing.
Well, this might be the place where the 7th row, if you're just far enough back and some trouble does start, you might be able to get through it. But I've seen Daytona races won from 4th place. So there can be a moment for you here. There can be a moment where being back a little ways can pay off, especially if the guys up front get really hot. But right now the guys up front are mostly all on the same team. So I think you're going to probably see them work together to get across the line more than work against each other. The main man to watch out for right now is Clayton Hoffman. He's the only guy who's not a part of Team Fortis, so they're going to try to chew him up and spit him out.
Gobble, gobble.
Yes, indeed. They might be out of season, but right now Clayton Hoffman is sitting turkey for sure.
And
it's not a good spot to be in.
One thing about the ISCA, you only get one shot only at that green-white checker. So, this is one of those situations where I want to say you probably don't come in for gas. You stay out. I don't think it'll matter.
Yeah.
I don't really think they're going to get a whole lot of green flag racing left.
Well, we got 4 to go. So if you're even decently good on gas at this point, just keep it and just push it to the line. But if you're, I don't know, who would you have to be at this point to be low on gas?
Yeah, the only thing that would even make it be a consideration for me would be just the fact that, you do have that possibility of a green-white checker.
Yeah, it's always a possibility, especially as you get closer and closer to the finish on big tracks like this. We could get to that point. Let's see what happens, though. I think the lights are going to be coming off on the starting vehicle here for this lap. Let's see. Yep, we are now officially 1 to go with 3 to go at the Daytona 120. Or 313, whichever one you want to use. Brought to you by the ISCA and the drivers within.
Yeah, lights out. Time to double them up. Getting ready to get this thing in the books. Clayton Hoffman. Looks like he's going to be situated down on the bottom. Matt DeCiano's going to be lining up beside him.
Oh, he's in such a rough spot. If he loses that position and ends up in the center and they put it 3 wide, he's done.
Yeah, then
he's going to fall all the way back.
Heitman and Gitter, and the big thing is going to be which row gets the push. Who gets the best start? Who gets that launch? Because we've had a couple good starts here. Hopefully we'll get yet one more at least so we can actually wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I think that we might. I think that if I'm anybody right now, the big strategy has to be Derek Heitman. He's behind a non-teammate. His teammates are on the outside line and can push each other pretty easily. What does Heitman do here? Does he hang back a little bit? Does he not let Hoffman get the push that he needs off the line? If he doesn't get a great jump, does he stick with him and try to get ahead and make room for his guys to move down, or just take the whole bottom line with him? Because if he can't give room to the guys on the upper line, he'll be alone in front of Vincent Crowe, stuck behind a non-teammate, and the amount of support he'll have waiting for him, it just won't be a lot.
Getting ready to get exciting. Pace cars off and away. Clayton Hoffman takes us through Geico restarts them. Green flags out. Hoffman's up and away. DeCiani a little slow up high. 76 of Heitman's going to roll through. Now the bottom line is 2 ahead of the top, but here comes the top line getter getting it done as he is shoving his teammate Matt DeCiani as they come around the outside. Still not a lot to be seen from rows 4 on back, but this right now is 2 by 2 by 2.
Wow, yes, the two lines are still formed pretty well. A little bit of mixing happening a further back, but up at front, it's still the one team mixing it up there. Clayton Hoffman holding on to the outside. It's Team Fortis holding on to the inside there. Crow still a part of it, though. He's hanging on. He's sitting around 4th place right now. Gitter on the outside with DeCiani. DeCiani trying to take all the energy he can. They're side by side right now with Heitman. Heitman's giving him by a nose. We got some people off on the back. In the back, we have several cars off on the inside, but we're still racing. We're still green.
White flag is out. The next flag will end the race. This is all happening up front. Chaos and pandemonium in the rear. But up front, it is clear. You got Matt DeCiani being pushed by Patrick Gitter. Along the outside, though, here comes Clayton Hoffman as he makes one more push. With Derek Heitman in his rear. Top line getting established. Going to be 3 wide. Oh, turns him. Race to the flag.
Oh, no!
DeCiani's got to keep it together and point it straight. If he wants any shot at winning this thing, we're coming to the line. DeCiani's going to. Oh, wow. That might be one of those, but I think unofficially we're showing Matt DeCiani. Wow, what a finish. But that's right. Looks like we're showing Matt DeCiani, the unofficial winner, with Tim Morton Jr. at the line. Hoffman's going to fall all the way back, not do himself any favors on the finish. He'll be outside of the top 10. Man, and just like that, Barney ends this thing with the wave of the checkered flag. We got extensions and hair pieces everywhere in the infield.
Barney had to dodge a few nuts and bolts.
Oh, wow, what an exciting race. And congratulations goes out to the number 1 of Matt DeCiani as he takes center stage here to celebrate his victory in the Daytona 313 here.
That was a nail-biter at the end. What a absolute fracas. What a fight for the finish. Whew. Congrats to DeCiani. Tim Wortman, what a warrior out there. What a warrior. And Clayton Hoffman, oh man, falling off just a little bit to finish 1 position up from where he started after such a dominating performance in Stage 2. Really intense finish to tonight's race.
Well, after careful consideration, I'm going to have to give tonight's burnout a 72.
Out of 100?
Yes, sir.
I like it. 72 seems fair. He's going back and forth. He can afford to do a few more moves. But it's impressive he's got a lot of control with doing the back and forth bit. Not bad, not bad. Mr. DeCiani, number 1 on the car, number 1 on the field.
All right, well, Mr. DeCiani's burnout complete. We'll run through the field one more time here. Matt DeCiani is going to be your winner. Tim Wortman Jr. comes in second. Patrick Gitter third. Randy Drumhiller fourth. Kenny Powell top 5 and 5th. Jay Hone in 6th. Chris D. Johnson 7th. Third. Heitman 8th. 9th place shows Connor Banks and Brian Johnson rounds out the top 10.
In 11th place is Paul Hill. 12th, Clayton Hoffman. 13th, Dave Fuchs Jr. 14th, Kendall LeBron. 15th, Jason Maines. 16th, Greg Wachinski. 17th, Mark Sanchez. 18th, Vincent Crow. 19th, Nick King. And 20th, Alexander Carr.
21st position is going to show Jermaine Vines with Bacon Zelenka. And 22nd, 23rd, Josh Schaffner. John Bender comes in at 24. 25th shows Andrew Griesbaum. 26th, Matthew Cisna. Jose Medina at 27th. Randy Belt, 28th. No, sorry, Randy Belt, 28th. 29th is going to be David Gervais. And 30th is going to be Blair Holloman.
Rounding out the set, 31st, Kevin Zosiak. 32nd, Paul Olson. 33rd, Greg Carr. 34th, Jeremy Clapper Newell. 35th, Ryan Strunk. 36th, Chuck Burley. 37th, JC Evans. 38th, Eric Kling. And 39th, Derek Jacobs.
With the 39 car field wrapped up, we're going to take a brief step away, get some final words from our sponsors, and we'll be back with our post-race coverage.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
And we are back with our post-race coverage. Once again, congratulations to the drivers that actually got it done. We're standing by with the third place driver, number 21 car, Patrick Gitter. Patrick Gitter, big gal up in the booth. You got me?
10-4.
Hey, Patrick, congratulations, man. It was a great start to the season. Good, solid show for you guys. Good, solid points effort. And then at the end of this thing, you're actually able to bring it home in P3.
Yeah, man, that was a wild finish there at the end for sure. I'm sure it was exciting on the broadcast. We we had set sail and broken the pack, and it was looking pretty good for a while there towards the end of that green flag run last stage. And it's, you know, you're always, when you're in that situation, you're praying the caution doesn't come out. Sure enough, it did, and we re-racked them. So exciting finish, wanted the win, but if it's not me, I'm sure happy it's a teammate. So Matt did a heck of a job there.
Yeah, indeed. And you guys actually had an opportunity to work together, kind of showcase your skills. Is this something that we can actually look forward to seeing here for the rest of the season?
I think so. I mean, we'll take it week to week, but I think team chemistry is big in this league to be successful, and we've, us three, Matt, Matt, and Derek, we've all ran together for a long time. Even though Derek's, on a different team for officials and things like that, I'm still happy that we've got the three of us back together for this season. So I think we hopefully some more strong showings here to come.
Yeah, you definitely had the car to beat there for the longest time. Was hoping this thing was going to go green for you guys, but I guess that just wasn't in the cards tonight. Next week, I'm not sure where we're headed to next week.
Yeah, I think we're going to be Atlanta.
Atlanta,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the new Atlanta? You guys, have you guys been able to do any testing there in the off season? And if so, how's everything shaping up for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, we had to make some changes to the car here just for the recent update that was made for the new season. Not anything crazy, but tinker around with it a little bit to get it where it needed to be, and happy with the car we've had this week. So I think we'll see a little bit of the same next week at Atlanta. We'll definitely be doing some testing this week to see where we need to land, but historically we've been solid at Atlanta. It's going to be more pack racing. I mean, it's going to be even more sardine there than it is at Daytona. So track position will be important, just like it was here tonight, I think.
Indeed, man. But you guys definitely had a solid showing all the way through 3 stages. Who was shouting out tonight for your third place overall finish?
Yeah, honestly, Matt. He was a fantastic teammate for me early in the race. He pushed me to the win in stage 1, and so I'm glad that he got the win there at the end. Really shout out to our teammates, Derek as well, had a great run. Fortis Motorsports in general, again, talked about it in stage 1, kind of a new venture for Matt and I. We pulled Carl Dodson in as well whenever he can run, and so it's been fun. We're happy with what we've got here, new challenge, and looking forward to learning more as we grow in that side of it. Shout out to Kenny for running the league, and then certainly you guys up in the booth.
Hey, man, thank you, and congratulations again, brother. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Don't party too hard.
10-4. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Patrick Gitter, your third place driver. And now, coming to the booth, we've got Tim Wortman Jr. He's going to be standing by with Joe.
Hey there, Tim. Congratulations on your second place win tonight.
Thanks, guys. That was an exciting one.
It really was. You were someone that wasn't really being talked about up at the front up until the very end there. And then all of a sudden your name came up and we saw you had quite the battle for the finish. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What was going through your mind there?
Man, I'll just go back. It's been an emotional week. I missed qualifying in the duels, because my dad passed away and we're running this tribute scheme for him tonight. 11-year survivor of glioblastoma. It's an absolute amazing story. In the end, cancer still got him. Just thankful for the 11 years that I've had with him, extra past the initial diagnosis. Grew up as all the way back in the house, 8, 9 years old, Indy 500 sim. We had sim racing our whole house growing up. He would watch my races. He hasn't been able to do it for a while, and he would watch my races. So this one's for him, and I'm a 0.03 away from a win. I finished between DeCiani and Gitter. I mean, what a great start to the season to say that you finished in between them two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You put on a absolute heck of a fight. Unbelievably good performance there at the end. After that yellow stacked everybody up, you finished right in the dead center there, and I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff out of you in the weeks to come. Definitely glad to hear that you got a chance to do a tribute to your dad. My condolences there, and we're looking forward to maybe seeing you on Get the Gold next time.
Yeah, I didn't get to do the Polish victory lap for him. He was a big Alan Quickie fan, but hey, the car's sitting at the past the start finish line pointed in the wrong direction, so at least we're pointed in the right direction. But thought I had a chance at DeCiani there when all the wrecks started, and I forced down below the yellow line, and I thought I'd do the right thing by getting back up to above the yellow and kind of put a door to DeCiani to at least do my right part and get up above there. Who knows, had I stayed below, maybe I win it, but I was trying to do the right thing and at least get legal. So Congrats to Matt, man. Congrats to my team. Nick King, Kendall Everon, the guys that work with me tonight, Vincent Crow, Paul Hill. You know, we were putting on a quiet little show back there trying to catch up, but thanks to you guys on the broadcast. Thanks to Ryko for putting amazing setups under my car.
Well, thank you, sir. And we look forward to seeing you race very soon. How about that?
Yep.
All righty. That was Tim Wortman. I'm going to pass it back to you, Big Al, to talk to our race winner.
All right, Tim Wortman Jr. coming in second place. Congratulations, Tim. And that brings us to last but not least, our first place finisher, Matt DeCiani. Matt DeCiani, Big Al up in the booth. Congratulations, sir, for bringing it home number one.
Thank you.
Matt, heard there's a lot of exciting things happening for you here in the future, man. And, couldn't get a better start than bringing it home for Fortis, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's kind of just been something in the back of our minds for a while, and we finally just, pulled the trigger on it this off season, and I think it's going to be good for us. It's going to be a nice challenge, and, we're not going to be boxed in per se. We can try some stuff, and, the weeks we hit it, we're going to hit it, and, we're going to miss it some weeks, but, that's perfectly fine. So, but, great way to start the season. I felt like the four of us that broke draft, we just did a hell of a job working together, and, kind of unfortunate Yellow came out because all hell broke loose, but, it's part of these plate tracks, unfortunately. But, overall, it was a fun race.
So, riddle me this. You guys were actually up front, and there's a little bit more to what was going on because you guys had built a sizable lead and you were definitely laying it down. So is that the type of speed we're going to expect from you guys this year?
It would be awesome to do that. It'll be a little different at non-plate tracks where you can do it, single car wise. But it's hard to do, and you need. We had 4 cars lock bumpers there to break draft, and it's pretty sketchy to do it if you're not comfortable with the guys you're doing it with, and luckily we've all raced with each other a lot, and we just kind of just said, hey, all right, we kind of just saw the outside run come in, and then we're like, all right, let's see if we can catch them sleeping, and we just went, and we did what we could. But we kind of knew if a yellow came out, it was going to be back to square one.
Yeah, how did that, explain your emotions there? You guys got this thing pretty much in the bag, solid breakaway by greater than 7 seconds, and then, 5 laps to go, you see the caution. Why don't you talk us through at that point all the way through the finish of that thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's any emotion. We kind of expected it to happen anyways, and honestly, unless you get the white, the yellow can come out at any point here, especially with everyone else trying to gain positions back in the pack. But yeah, we had the choose, and Derek lined up behind Clayton, so me and Pat were just going to line up, and the plan was just stay connected as long as we can, and it was, I don't know what would have happened if we didn't get turned there, and it was going to be tight at the line, but I honestly don't know how I saved that car down on the apron. I for sure expected to wreck that thing, and I straightened it out, and Pat squared me up perfectly, and we just kind of door banged with Tim there coming to the line, so it all worked out.
Once again, solid point showing for you guys today through the first 3 stages and winning this thing at the end, man. Who you shouting out here for your overall victory?
Yeah, thanks for you guys for calling the race. Kenny for putting on this league. He does a great job. Shout out to Pat. Couldn't do this without him. And then, shout out to Derek and Clayton. We did what we needed to do, try to put ourselves in position. Unfortunate they got junked there at the end. And, shout out to Tim on his P2, Randy Drumheller P4, Kenny P5, Jay Hone, P6. Anyone could have won this race, honestly, there at the end. So it's good to see the battle coming to the line there.
Hey, roger that, boss. We'll be looking to see you next week. As I always say, don't party too hard. Matt DeCiani, ladies and gentlemen, your winner here for the 313 tonight at Daytona International Speedway. Wow, that one in the books, and boy, was it one. Joe, what are your thoughts?
Whew.
We just saw some incredible racing. We saw some breakaways. We saw a few wrecks here and there. We saw a crazy good finish. That's the kind of Daytona 500 that I can see on sim racing.
Indeed it was, man. A little bit of everything there. And the only thing I think we didn't see were cars on their sides or roofs. But once again, what an exciting race it was. I want to thank you, Joe, for being right there, man, having the words that I needed when I needed them. Thank you for Kobe for being behind the scenes, making everything come seamless. Thank you for Kenny for putting this all together, making it happen. Thanks to the drivers for giving us something to talk about. Thank you for joining in. And if you want to see more racing like this, please like, subscribe, friend us. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, X, and Facebook, as well as YouTube. I'm your host, Big Al. Thank you for joining in, ladies. As I always say, don't party too hard. And gentlemen.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part. And really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever